can see that you're ready and waiting to delve into my delicious leftover Halloween snacks. Halloween is a wonderful time of year for perhaps less tricks and many, many more treats. And of course, by treats, I mean absolutely scrumptious foods. Now, I have been rather busy filming a new cookery show. Will be out later this year, stay tuned. But I still managed to pick up a few treats to share with you. So I think we should just dive right in, because I don't know about you, but I only had my brunch about half an hour ago, and I am already starving. So, what have I got for you? Well, I have to apologise because, as I said, I have been filming my new cookery show. Again, it will be out later this year on BBC Two. So I didn't have any time to bake anything for, the little trick-or-treaters, and I did have to buy some things in. Now, I wasn't doing any hosting this year, so instead I had a little rummage around the supermarkets, as you do, and I actually decided to go in there myself. Normally I stick to online shopping, or I just go to my local deli. I prefer to get organic produce, and obviously to make everything where I can. But amongst filming the new TV show, I am also working on 2 brand new cookery books. They will be available very shortly. Again, please just stay tuned on all my social media and my website to keep an eye out for when everything will be happening. So anyway, pop down to Marks and Spencer's and picked up a few treats. Now, I must admit that during one of my late night snack attacks, I may have indulged in just a couple of these already. And of course, these are what's been left over from Halloween, so let's just get tucked in, okay? So, first off, I had to get this delightful little bag, which is like a little mummy. Now, I love this. I just think it's so sweet, and for me, any event, whatever it may be, whether it be, a family gathering, or hosting a brunch, or something like Halloween, I just think it's really, really lovely to just make the extra effort with little things like this, and really getting something so sweet. And I know that Halloween is supposed to be scary, but for me, I really think that it's all about the mix. So a little bit of spook and a little bit of cuteness. So in our mummy bag, we have our first treats. Okay. Now, why don't we start with these, because these have already been opened. Now, of course, if my children were still at home, I could be blaming them for nibbling into these, but I must admit that it's actually myself. So, naughty Nigella. Anyway, these are some eyeballs. Ooh, they come in a little knitted bag. And these are just rather lovely, and something I was thinking about doing with these is I was thinking about melting them down and making a lovely little chocolate fondant. Naturally speaking, of course, I'd have to, look in the larder for some extra supplies, chocolate-wise, that is. But I thought, you could do that. However, when I was sat down last night with a little cappuccino, I could not help myself just getting out a little ball and dunking it. And who doesn't love a little ball? It's just lovely. So these are milk chocolate. Now I always try to say to family and friends who don't share my immense knowledge and skills that when they are picking out chocolate, to try to go for the highest percentage they can. It's just much, much better quality, and I know my stuff. But with things like, shop bought ready-made things, you can't always be choosy. So this is just a regular milk chocolate. I don't know if it says anything particular. No, 30% cocoa solids, 20% milk solids. Okay, so quite low. But despite the fact that I do have a very sophisticated palate, sometimes I just have to, just lay off that a little bit and enjoy the other little things. So that's what we're going to do. So only a few left now, and they're quite sweet because they come in these little foil wrappers. So let's pop that down. Now, shall I pop one ball in at a time or two? It's always a question I have, I feel, but I think I'm going to go with one. So let's unwrap. And as we undress the little ball, it's now a little naked ball. And I'm going to slowly bite into this for you so you can see inside. Now, I am wearing red lipstick, and unfortunately I don't have my makeup team on hand here today. So if it ends up all over my face whilst I'm eating, well, there's really not a lot that can be done. Anyway, enough chit-chat, more eating. Now, you'll notice that my little ball has started to melt. But inside you can see that it is indeed very, very solid. I do find myself drawn to a solid ball. I must admit that even though the percentage is very low, and I wouldn't normally go that low, I have to say that they are quite scrumptious. I would perhaps suggest dropping a few of these into a nice hot beverage, just to make it nice and rich and naughty. Okay, shall we have another one? Okay. So, let's dive back in. My hands. The one good thing about eating at home like this is it really doesn't matter how messy you get. And I love to get messy. Okay, let's unwrap another ball. There we go. Okay. I always find chocolate such a sensual thing, and I think that any time chocolate is involved, the experience is going to be so good. Delightful. Okay. Just to mix up the taste a little bit, I think we'll delve back into our cute little mummy here. And perhaps we'll go for something a little bit, not necessarily sour, but just to kind of cut through that chocolatey flavour. I think we'll go for some of these. Some of these oozing skulls. Now, obviously for the kiddies, these are absolutely wonderful because apparently they are meant to burst when you eat them. So these are jellies bursting with strawberry flavour and gruesome goo. Heads from assorted bodies. And you know, it's easy for someone like me who is so skilled in the kitchen and other rooms that, you know, making all these treats for all these events is, you know, so easy, but for others, you know, it's really not. So to have, you know, little things like this that can really make an event or a little kiddies party, I think it's really fabulous. So let's get trying. Now, if this was smell-o-vision, you'd be able to get the smell of sumptuous strawberries and cream. That's effectively what it smells like. Now, we have them looking like this. I'm not sure if they all look the same. I think they do. Some are more detailed than others. Oh, there we go. There's a nice looking skull there. Okay, let's see how much these burst. Because I do love, when a product says it will burst, I do love a good squirt of product. So let's have a little taste. So the first thing that I would like to point out with these is there is a lack of squirt. Now, I expected these to ooze, and who doesn't love a good ooze? But unfortunately, I'm not getting much of that. Maybe it's more towards this end. Let me have a try. I am thoroughly disappointed in the lack of ooze there. Now, you know when you get a wonderful, I'm going to use the example of a fondant again, because really, well, I suppose apart from, you know, a cheese fondant, really a chocolate fondant is just a marvellous, marvellous thing. And there's nothing better on a cold winter's night than just delving in to an oozing chocolate fondant. But that's what we want, isn't it? We want a bit of that ooze, and I'm just not getting that from these. But it would be unfair for me to judge on just one, so let me try another one. No, definitely no ooze there. You can see inside the different layers, which is really sweet, aesthetically speaking. But as we know, the proof is in the pudding, and I'm just not getting what I want from it. So, okay. Well, the chocolate eyeballs definitely loved, but those not so much. Now, to break through the sweetness, I think we need to move on to something slightly savoury. Now, I can hear you at home, Nigella, there's nothing better than a sweet treat. I completely agree. But when it comes to savoury things, you know, they can be just as delicious. And when we've had those which are quite sweet and indulgent, a little bit of a nice savoury injection is what we need. So let me get them now. Okay, so what we have is some vampire fangs. Now, she heard me correctly. Freshly extracted and extra cheesy, could cause a pain in the neck, not for suckers. And I just think things like this are really fun. So these are a cheese-flavoured corn snack. The ingredients are corn grits, sunflower oil, dried whey, dried cheese, dried yeast extract, dried cream, a bit of paprika for that colour, and curcumin. So, all these are made with a healthier oil. As some of you may or may not know, I have been on a bit of a health kick recently. You may have noticed my more slender frame, and whilst I do love to indulge regularly every single day, just finding the time to try to pick out some healthier options, or not even healthier, just a little bit less of the naughty at times to keep me in dresses like this, then, you know, that's what we have to do. Okay, enough talking, Nigella. Let's get into it. Okay, now these are not quite what I expected. I was expecting a little bit more of a flat shape. These are much more like that well-known cheese-based snack, but let's give them a go. Now, obviously they are meant to go in like this. I imagine lots of fun for the kiddies, but let's just have a try. Now, they smell very cheesy indeed, but let's see if they taste good as they look. But let's see if they really taste of that cheese. For me, when we're doing that tempting tanginess of cheese is, you know, I suppose being, you know, Italian, cheese is, you know, one of my most favourite things. And when it's done well in a dish, it can really bring things to life. I feel here, obviously because it's a dry snack, what's happened is a lot of the flavour hasn't fully been brought out. So I'm not getting a full amount of cheesiness, but I am just getting a light touch, and amongst these sugary snacks, this is very good to cut through that. There's one thing I really love about a little naughty packet of crisps or snacks is actually getting the little bit of dust amongst the fingers, because there's nothing better than just sitting there afterwards and just and as this bag isn't for sharing, I can say quite easily that I don't mind popping my hand back in afterwards. Okay, let's have a couple more try, because actually they are quite nice and I'm quite enjoying them. You know, I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go in for a bigger mouthful. Lots of times in life, the bigger mouthful is the better option. And I'm going to try and see if I can get the full flavour by just tasting all of it at once. So, let's see how we get on. I think that is the way to do it. Now, I'll just have a couple more and then we'll finish with something sweet, because that's always my favourite thing to do. Okay, let's pop these over here. Okay, now, I can't see myself, so I'm going to presume that either I am covered in a little bit of the dust from these cheesy snacks, or I have lipstick all over my face. We'll see. Anyway, let's just have a couple more of these and then we'll finish with something sweet, as I said. Okay, now the fingers have had a good suck, so let's move on to that sweet treat. Now, who doesn't love a good finger? I know I do. And we've got here 5 chocolate severed fingers. Now these are a lot of fun, and as you can see I have had a couple already, naughty Nigella, but these are lovely. And this is a blend of white and milk chocolate, just formed in these little naughty finger shapes. These are such fun. You imagine these amongst your homemade baked goods at a party, and you know, you're just placing them around, you know, real fun. Okay, so let's just get straight into these. They're quite heavy and they're a good size. I do like things of a good size, so let's just go for it. Really, really lovely. It's got a really nice initial crunch, and I do like something that you can, really get stuck into. And the end here, if you're wondering, I don't think this has any particular flavour, and as you'll see, it does transfer. So just be careful of that, but no, I think it is just some food colouring. Well, that was rather fabulous. Now, I'm sorry to say that we have come to an end of my leftover treats for you, but I do have some recommendations as to what you could do with these leftovers. So, to start with, as I mentioned with the balls, with these, I really do think that they're going to be wonderful melted. And I would advise adding them to some sort of cake mix or something like a fondant for that ooze. Now, mug cakes have also become very popular, and if you're in a hurry, I think there's nothing better than doing something that you know is going to taste scrumptious. So, I would recommend using them for something like that. Then, moving on to the oozing skulls. Now, these are a little bit more tricky, really. So what would I recommend? Perhaps inserting them into something like a muffin or cupcake to give that nice, sweet, chewy inside. I think that would be lovely. Again, with a nice aperitif and just perhaps sat down, even with a nice coffee and a good book. Perfect. Then that brings us to our vampire fangs, our little lovely cheesy delights. So for this, I would recommend using these as a crumb. So simply place these in your blender or mixer, or even just get a few of them. Make sure that you put some cling film down, give them a good bash. Everybody loves a good bash. And then simply you would dust this over something like even like a fish pie to give a nice crunchy cheesy topping. Bake in the oven and that would be delightful. And as for the fingers, well, if you can't finish them off yourself, then again these will easily be good melted down, or my personal recommendation is to give them a good dunk into a cup of tea or a coffee. Right, that's all we have time for, and I really have to go because I have to get my latest batch of cookies out of the freezer, because I've just heard that a very, very good friend is popping over and I need to defrost them and pop them in the oven, because there is nothing better than welcoming a friend with a smell of sumptuous, delightful, absolutely delectable homemade cookies. Okay, it's been rather lovely, and I'm sure that I'll be on your screens again around Christmas time with some wonderful festive treats. Bye-bye.